All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We're going to allow everybody like a minute or two to get in here. I see 3 people. Let's see. Allow everybody a chance to get in, get in, get in, get in, get in. Five people. Okay. Good. Let's see, I'm expecting a few more. So hopefully everybody got the email. Let me just check to see who else is joining us today. Yeah, see. All right. We're 4. Okay, we went down to 4. I don't know what happened, but okay. We lost a person. They're back. All right, we got a couple more people that are supposed to be in here, so I just want to give them like a minute or two to get in here. Let me see, what's my total count? I'm expecting 9 people. So we have 5. All right, good morning. Oh, we have 4. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. We're supposed to have 9 people. We have 4. So I'm going to go ahead and get started in about 1 minute. I'm going to give them a chance to join. I'm working for 2 laptops. I hope all is going well with everybody this morning. I'm excited. So let me turn off my camera for just a second while we allow them 1 more minute to get in here and to get going, if they're coming. All right, we're still at 4 people. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started, and I hope that they will either join us or catch up or something. I think everybody got the email okay. So it is, this is the 90-day, technically it's the 90-day challenge. I used to host a 90-day challenge when we were with a previous group, and it was an opportunity for people who are new to e-commerce to get started. So the one thing I will ask is that those that have been doing e-commerce for a while, please share some grace and mercy and allow some grace and mercy to those who have not. There may be questions that come up, and we want to allow people the opportunity to ask their questions and not be, give them enough time. So this class is an hour long, actually an hour and a half long today. The first 2 classes are the longest, and they're the longest for a reason, because there's a lot of stuff we want to, I guess, slingshot you out into selling so that you can, so that you'll be able to get started quickly. So we're going to be covering a lot of stuff today, and I want to be overwhelmed. You might be overwhelmed, and I apologize in advance, but that is not the objective. The objective is actually to get you started in a way that's going to help you to make some money right now and to get you started pretty quickly. So with that being said, I am Nicole Whitlock with eCom Sellers Academy, and I'm also the owner of eCom Sellers Mastery, which is our other program. We have a couple of different programs that we offer. So 90-day challenge, 0 to 2K or to 6K. I don't know what number you're trying to reach, but we want to help you get there. So the first thing we're going to do is I introduce myself. I'm Nicole. And We're going to talk about the overview for the next 12 weeks. So we're going to be covering, there's 8 sessions that we're going to actually have. The first 2 are the longest. I apologize in advance that they're the longest. And they're probably the most overwhelming because they're going to be getting a lot of information in the class, and then you're going to get a bunch of videos and templates and emails after the class. So again, I apologize for that, but it's intended to, because the first 2 weeks, are a learning and ramping up period. And then hopefully the next 10 weeks, you'll start to get the results that you're looking for. So that's our goal. All of the sessions will be held via Zoom. And so paid members will have access to the recordings. Those are going to be placed in the eCom Sellers Academy membership site, but it's going to be in a restricted area. So if you didn't buy, some of our grandfathered Academy members, you didn't buy, you won't have access to it. But if you did buy, then you will have access to it. So after the session is over, we will upload the unedited version of this and share that out. And if you don't have an Academy membership, we will send you an email so you can get an Academy, so you can log into the Academy, and you will only see that section. So that's the great thing about the tool that we use. We can control all of that. So our focus is going to be, for the next 12 weeks, is going to be 90%, well, probably 80% on seller fulfillment or merchant fulfillment. We are going to go into FBA, and we're going to also talk about prep centers. What I would like for you to know is that the reason we focus on merchant fulfillment and seller fulfillment is because there's a lot of moving parts right now on Amazon. One, they hired over 100,000 to 200,000 new employees just to handle the amount of work that they're receiving. When you hire a bunch of employees, you get a bunch of different results. So some prep centers, some fulfillment centers are doing great, and others are challenged. From different sellers, we're hearing things like, my inventory has been lost, or it's suspended. So it's everywhere, suppressed, not suspended. And so that's a challenge when you're dealing with prep with the FBA. So prep centers is what I long-term recommend everybody move to. If you don't want to touch the inventory, if you don't want to deal with it, you should move to a prep center, because it's going to be easier for you to control what happens versus as this pandemic continues to do whatever it's going to do for the next 12 to 18 or 24 months. Each one of the large Amazon fulfillment centers are going to experience ebbs and flows. There's going to be a time where they say, 1,000 employees were affected with the COVID virus and we have to shut down this facility, or production is slower in this facility, or whatever the case may be. So you're going to see that. That's just a nature of where we are right now. Everyone's been experiencing it for about the last 2 months, really. Just very unusual results for those of us that are long-term sellers for Amazon. So moving to a prep center is going to give you a little bit more flexibility. When you look at the size of a prep center, it's like 1,000 to 3,000 employees, and some of those fulfillment centers for Amazon. And if you move to a prep center, especially one that's been around for a while, they'll have anywhere from 25 to 50 employees. So if something happens with their prep center, yes, you're going to have a hiccup. Doesn't matter if you use a prep center or if you use FBA, there's going to be a hiccup. But the reality is the hiccup will be, you'll be able to overcome it a little quicker with a prep center than you will with Amazon FBA. The other thing is that with Amazon FBA, they give you credits. And so your profit margins can be a little different. I will tell you, from a prep center to FBA, the price difference is negligible, meaning you're going to pay FBA fees, you're going to pay prep center fees. So your profit margins are going to be close to the same. If you decide you're going to continue to do it yourself, we'll talk about ways in which you can do it yourself. But again, we're going to be focusing on merchant fulfillment this entire time. So wanted to make sure everybody was clear on that. Lucky most of my items ago. Yeah. So you've been lucky if you haven't had any problems, because there's been a lot of people that have had problems with some of the fulfillment centers, only because, again, different things. Amazon is trying to train a bunch of people all at the same time. They're gaining new staff, they're losing staff. People are going out for 2 weeks at a time as they recover. So it's just a lot of movement when you're talking about big giant facilities versus a smaller one. Okay, you're going to receive weekly emails from us. Those emails are going to be sent either on Friday or they're going to be sent on Sunday. So you won't get them today. And they're just going to be information to help keep you on track, additional instructions or assignments. So again, if you're a new seller, today feel overwhelming, or just be like, oh, this is a lot of information. Just relax, breathe. It's going to be okay. You will be given opportunities to attend live Q&A sessions. So anything that we don't cover today, you can come to our live Q&A sessions. They are twice a week. One's on Tuesday at 9:30, and the second one is today at 2 p.m. So we will have an opportunity to answer questions, but if we don't limit the time, we will be on here for 3 hours. Trust me. So we're going to try and allow you the opportunity to focus. All right, so what are we covering over the next 12 weeks? We're going to be covering today's session. We're going to talk about building a real schedule. We're really going to cover a couple of things. We're going to talk about mindset. But one of the biggest things that I've seen over the years and all the people that I've coached, and I've worked with some pretty large groups on training, and the biggest obstacle that I see people have is that they don't really have a real work schedule. Their businesses, and just it's all over the scoreboard. It's like a scatter diagram, and they're not focused and they're not consistent. And my objective is to help you to really build a real work schedule, because that's going to drive what's going to happen for the next 90 days, what's going to happen for the next 12 weeks. If you want to get the results that you're hoping to get, you have to build a real work schedule. And the schedule that you're going to build today is going to build on the stuff that we're going to cover next week. So I'm going to talk about setting up your account. We're going to talk about sourcing, creating listings, and fulfilling orders. Then session 2, we're going to go over your numbers. We're going to talk about your target numbers. We're going to talk about ranks for items that you sell on Amazon and doing some product research, talk about customer service, optimizing a listing. Yes, you can edit an existing listing that you piggyback off of. You won't be able to edit a bunch of stuff about it, but you will be able to edit some things. We're going to talk about tools and keyword research. There's some other things that we're going to cover next week, but that's just the high level. Then the following week, we don't have class. We're going to cover the week after that a status update. See where you are. We're going to review what your numbers are. We're going to review where you stand on your schedule, how consistent you've been on your schedule, what type of hiccups you're running into, what challenges, and we're going to talk about sourcing some more. So we're going to talk about sourcing today because I got to get you started, and then we're going to take another dive into sourcing. We're going to talk about sourcing a lot, okay? And things to think about. Then the session after that, session 4, we're going to be covering niches and selling strategies. Session 5, reverse sourcing, always a great one. And then selling on multiple platforms. We'll probably dip into selling on multiple platforms in session 4. The reason we recommend that is because over time, when you're selling on Amazon, you may have returns. You may have inventory that if you had it in FBA that you're going to pull back. And so learning to diversify other platforms. And the biggest thing that I think people that have been doing 100% FBA have learned over the last 8 weeks to 10 weeks is that diversification matters. When Amazon says that they're shutting down or they're restricting listings or they are limiting what you can send in or what you can sell, or they've decided that they're going to go on this, your price is too high kick, or issue a bunch of IP claims, having the ability to sell inventory that you've acquired or inventory that you have on other platforms is going to be key to keeping your cash flow going. If Amazon is your only source, then you're going to run into some challenges. So I am a strong proponent of selling on other platforms. Then we're going to discuss bundles, multi-packs, and we're going to review where you are and see what your numbers look like. And session 7, we're going to do outsourcing, and we're going to talk about getting your virtual assistant. We're going to go into prep centers and talk about Amazon FBA. If you want to do FBA, I'm not going to discourage you from it. I really am not. But just know that with all of the ebbs and flows that are happening with Amazon and some of the challenges that they have or they've had over the last 10 weeks, it's going to continue to get interesting. I think, you know, the stats around the numbers of online buyers is ridiculous. Initially, from 2019 to 2020, they were expecting the percentages to go up for online buying to 17%. 16.9% is what they had in Statistica. It is now up to, the last thing that I looked at was 68%, but I saw some other articles that said it was 74% of purchasing is online. That is a huge jump. And so again, Amazon is having to adjust to that. And you're also seeing a lot of stores are shutting down and closing because of the fact that they are heavy foot traffic stores, they're brick and mortars. And so some of those stores are moving to 100% online. Some of those stores are going to liquidate inventory. And so as all of this happens, just the growing pains and the transition pains, you know, Amazon being able to move quickly with large warehouses, they'll be able to do it because they've got the money, but it is going to take a minute. And so sellers are going to be impacted by their adjustments as they go along the way. So that's usually why I recommend prep centers. And then scaling your business. So putting together a long-term, I want to keep making $2,000 a month or $4,000 or $6,000, or I want to get up to $10,000 a month in profit. Let's talk about how you do that. And we're going to cover that in the last session. So any questions about the schedule? You can type them in the chat. And I think, let me just unmute everybody. I think everybody's unmuted. Allowed to talk, allowed to talk, allowed to talk, allowed to talk. All right. So if you want to talk, you can talk. And if you have any questions, you can raise your hand and bring them up and we'll go from there. All right. So today we're going to be covering class overview. We're going to be covering mindset. We're going to cover a real work schedule, creating your account. So how many people here need to create their accounts? You can unmute yourself and answer, or you can raise your hand or type in the chat. Who needs to create an account? Everybody has an Amazon account? And everyone has the seller app installed today? All right, Debbie says, I'm all set. I need to create a seller account. All right. So we have, okay, awesome. Anyone else need to create a seller account? All right, so those of you that have been selling for a while, we just always ask for grace and mercy for those that are new as we go through that step. So that may be a good time for a coffee break or a, a snack. We'll do that. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so we're talking about your numbers. I'm a numbers nerd. I don't know if you've been following me for any period of time, but I am a numbers nerd. I am always about the data, and I'm always about whether or not products are profitable and whether or not I'm going to reach my goals. And the one thing about selling individual products is that you really don't have control over, you know, your monthly income. All you can do is find the items that are moving and try to scale up those items that are moving very well, or make adjustments for items that you sell. So I sell a variety of items. I don't just focus on one thing. I love to do bundles, but I don't just focus on one thing. And I do have a couple of niches that I do, but again, I sell a lot of things. So if your goal is to reach the $2,000 mark in 90 days, then you need to know, you break out the pencil now and the notepad, that your goal is to average at least $166 a week in profit. That's your average goal, which is $24 a day in profit. Is that doable? Absolutely. But again, it's going to require work on your side. It's going to require some level of consistency and some focus. So if 2,000 is your goal, long-term, bigger picture, you know, you don't have a lot of expenses. I am not the $2,000 chick. I got a lot of expenses with 2 boys. So, you know, you need to know that you're going to have to scale that up 3 times that number. And it's going to be $72 a day is what you're going to have to target in order to make that monthly. Is that doable? The answer is yes. Are there a lot of people that do retail arbitrage or online arbitrage or wholesale or drop shipping? because, you know, in essence, merchant fulfilled or seller fulfilled, and you're doing drop shipping is pretty much, you know, the same. People don't get that, but getting to those numbers is your goal. Finding those products that are moving or going to be moving is the goal. That's the goal. And so we're going to focus on items that are either in the top 1 to 2% of the sales rank range. That's our objective. And we're going to try to move quickly every single month to the 1 to 2%. And that staying in that range of 1 to 2% of the sales rank is what's going to keep you close to getting more consistent income that you're targeting every single month. If your goal is 4,000, then you've got to reach at least $48 of profit every single day. Is that doable? Yep. And average at least $333 a week in profit. Now, when I say it per week, feels like it's overwhelming. And then when I talk about, oh my God, you got to make $1,000 a week in profit, it feels overwhelming to people. Just know that it's possible. We're going to dig into the numbers next week. I'll show you some graphs and some charts so that maybe you can say, okay, this is doable. I can handle this. Then getting to 6,000, again, $72 a day in profit, that's entirely possible. So what I want you to do is just make a note right now. Where are you going? Which one are you going to target in the next 90 days? You're going to try to hit 2,000 and 4,000, 6,000, so that way we can all check back with each other and see where you are, you know, over the next 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 10 weeks. What's your number? What's your goal in 90 days? And you can type it in the chat. So anybody want to share their goal? What's your goal? What's your goal? What's your goal? Love to reach 6K. All right. 4K a month. All right. So in 90 days, do you want to get to 4K in 90 days, or do you want to get to 4K a month? So if it's 4K a month, it's your stretch goal. Oops, go back. Just want to make sure that we're all looking at it the same way. So we can target the 6K and then scale that up. And we can target the 4K and scale that up, or we can go straight for the stretch goal, whatever works for you. All right. All right, everybody's going for the stretch goal. All right, it's going to require commitment. Okay, so I cannot see this. I can't see part of this. That's the one thing about Zoom is you can't see everything. I'm going to move some stuff around and hopefully I'll be able to see part of it. Okay. All right, so now that we all know what our goal is, we are going to do an activity here in a second. And I need you to know it's up to you. It really is up to you. It's about your focus, your concentration, your commitment, your consistency. So you have to be committed to reaching this goal and you have to be consistent. I can't do the work for you. There's no way where I live and what I do, I can't do the work for you. You have to do the work. Now I can help you and we're going to give you opportunities on Saturday and also on Tuesdays to come and ask any questions. I'm not getting my goals. Where can I make adjustments? How can I pivot? What changes should I make? We're going to give you a lot of opportunities to do that quick touch base to get to those numbers so that you know, you can try and get back on track. But the business is yours. And this is the challenge that I run into over the years because people will say, well, you told me to blah, blah, blah. No, this is your business. At the end of the day, I'm going to give you ideas. I'm going to give you thoughts. I'm going to give you suggestions, but you make all the decisions. I don't make the decisions. You decide if you're going to work in your business or not today. You decide if you're going to actually follow any of the recommendations or suggestions. You decide all of this. And my goal is to encourage you and to help you and to guide you, but you make all the decisions. I do want you all to give yourself some grace and mercy while you're on this journey. And the reason I say that is because, again, you're going to make some mistakes. I could tell you time and time again the lovely mistakes that I've made in my business, and nobody is mistake free. Stuff is going to happen. So if you think about conceptually, when you go into a Walmart, there's always people standing in line in the return area. Somebody's always over there returning something, and you're going to run into people, especially right now with more buyers online, that there's going to be some shady stuff happening. Now, I will give you this little caveat, right? With everything that's happening with COVID-19, deliveries are slower, super slower than normal. Typically, you know, I tell people to add a pad to their delivery window because, again, those companies or businesses that are traditionally consistent with delivering things online, even they are delayed. Because when you go from 17% of your deliveries, you know, 17% of the purchases were online, so your deliveries were a certain percentage, to now you have 68 to 74% increase in deliveries. That is a huge adjustment for UPS, USPS, FedEx, and any other delivery place. So a lot of people are noticing that deliveries are making it, but if they were targeting that it was going to be delivered by Monday and it really doesn't show up on your front door until Wednesday, people start filing a claim on Monday or Tuesday saying, it's not here, it shows delivered and it's not. And we've seen a couple of different scenarios because Amazon uses, I forget what it's called, but it's where they have delivery drivers come in and drop stuff off at your door. If they check it into a city, if it's in the city or if it's in the mail station or the closest location, they'll show that, oh, okay, it's been delivered. Or if it's out on the truck, but the delivery driver didn't get it all done, and then it gets taken back to the warehouse, and then he or she, somebody new picks it up the next day. So I have been telling my customers, just allow a little bit more time. That's an example of, you know, there's going to be some interesting stuff that's going to happen, especially around deliveries. So be kind to your customers because you would want somebody to be kind to you if you were having stuff delivered and it didn't show up. But also be patient with yourself and be patient with the service providers. Because sometimes it is like 2 days after it shows delivered that it actually shows up on the front door. I've seen a couple of those already, or a day later. So just be patient with the process. Things are taking longer than planned, and all of the carriers are just trying to adjust to that. Also, like I said before, you're going to make mistakes. So I can remember I was selling Chromebooks and remote control race cars. It was around Christmas, and I was shipping them myself with the help of my beautiful, lovely children. I shipped a remote control car, a yellow remote control car, to a person that was supposed to get a Chromebook. And I shipped a Chromebook to somebody that was supposed to get a remote control car. So again, you're going to make mistakes. I could go on and on of things that I've done where we've had to track down something real quick. And I'm like, oh, that's the wrong label. It's going to happen. Just be patient with yourself. Give yourself some grace and mercy. And know that almost anything is recoverable. You do have to be persistent. You have to persevere during this process. And you're going to have to learn to pivot. So when I said at the beginning, over the next 90 days, you're going to, as we try to stay somewhere between the 1% to 2% of the sales range, you're going to have to pivot in some of the things that you sell or some of the things that you source. That's just what's going to happen. And so you may have 10 of something that didn't move. You know, you can always fulfill your inventory if you send it in FBA. You can sell on other platforms and fulfill from your own inventory. That's one strategy. You need to keep track of what's happening, those moving parts that have to do with that. But there's just so many different ways in which to do it. So you can be successful. Everybody's buying online. So what I'd like for you guys to do right now is I want you to write down why you took this workshop. 3 reasons. Because money is always a great motivator. I tell people all the time, I have to be able to keep my lights on and keep water running out of my faucet. So money is a great motivator because you have to survive. Some people have lost their jobs. Some people have have been downsized, and different things happen for different reasons. So I just write down 3 reasons why you took this workshop. And then what is your why? What motivates you? What's going to keep you focused when you get frustrated and stuff happens? When deliveries are late, when you get a notification from Amazon that your price is too high, when Amazon changes their rules about shipments, when Amazon decides that you can't sell in this category right now, when, what is going to keep you, your why is what's going to keep you focused and even motivated to continue selling. Because I've worked with so many different people that they get started and they quit. They get started and they quit. They leave. Something happens with Amazon. They don't want to do this anymore and they're very frustrated. So write that down. And then I'd love for you to write down what excites you, what do you enjoy about e-commerce? Because when it's all said and done, if you're just doing this for the money, you're not going to do it for very long. You're going to go and chase another shiny object, or you're going to go do something else. You're going to go get a full-time job or maybe do a gig job. And it's okay to do those things if you need to for income purposes. Do what you need to do and do what makes you happy. But if e-commerce is not your jam, if you don't enjoy it, if there's nothing fun about it, if you don't like any aspect of it, you will not continue doing it. Period. It doesn't matter how many courses you buy, how many sessions you take, who is helping you, who is coaching you. You will not continue doing it if there is nothing about it that you enjoy or like or love. You'll stop doing it. It'll become mundane, it'll become boring, or it'll become a situation where, okay, well, this is a habit. Now, a hobby. Now I have a new hobby. My new hobby is whatever, doing Bitcoin. My new hobby is, I don't know, walking dogs, whatever it happens to be. So what excites you about e-commerce? Because you're going to put these things on the wall. You're going to write, you're going to indicate why I took this workshop. I'm coming back every Saturday at 10 o'clock and I'm going to do what they tell me to do, or at least process what they tell me to do and decide how I want to do it. Okay. You need to be reminded what is motivating you. What is your why? My kids are my biggest why. I do this for my kids, and I allow my kids to help me in this because it becomes a family thing. What excites you? What do you enjoy about it? I am a numbers geek, so I like being able to find a deal and being able to turn around and flip it. I love it when I make a profit. I love it when I'm able to flip something, buy something for a couple of dollars and turn around and sell it for $28 or $48 or whatever the number happens to be. I love that kind of stuff. I love a challenge. And I love just, sourcing and finding great deals. I love it when I can help somebody, because you are helping people. When you're selling things online, you really are. There are people that can't get out, people that have medical conditions that are not able to get out. And because of what you do, you're actually serving a need. So I love what I do. And then last but not least, what's going to happen if you fail? You need to write that down. That's not what we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on the top 3 buttons, the top 3 bullets. But what happens if you fail? Are you going to be evicted? Are you going to lose your car? Are you going to do whatever? I don't know what your motivation is. If it is not a huge pain point, then you're going to quit. That's just the truth. The why has to be stronger. It has to be really, really strong. And if you fail, that has to be really, really strong in order for you to continue doing this. So I've been doing e-commerce since I started in January 2014. I started because I needed a solution for my boys. I have 2 special needs kids, and I had to figure out how to pay for their speech therapy, occupational therapy, how to pay for their special diet and their supplements, because we're gluten-free, casein-free, how to get all the alternative therapies that insurance would not pay for, that's considered out of network and out of everything. And I didn't know what to do. And I knew that if I did not get my boys therapy, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, what would their life look like? How would they survive in the world? How would people treat them? Are there therapies that I could have gotten them if I had just pushed myself a little harder and a little more in order to help them to be successful in life? Because I couldn't imagine, and I still, I mean, I think about it all the time, but what would their life look like if I had never gotten them therapy? So when I started on this journey, like my son Nicholas was not talking. He started talking, I think, more in 2013, 14. We started therapies in 2014. I will tell you that the therapies have helped my other son, Tony, significantly. Both of them have learning disabilities. And again, they're huge. They're going to be super tall. What would their life look like if I had not gotten them therapy? And do they still have work to do? Absolutely. But just write down what happens. What does your world look like if you fail? If I failed, I could see a very negative life for them, a life where people would not be kind to them and the world would not be kind to them. And so I was motivated every day to get up and make enough money to cover their therapies. I was motivated every single day to get up and make enough money to pay for all of the alternative treatments that we've done, and we still have more to do, in order to help them to be successful as they became adults. That was my biggest motivation. And if I failed, then what did the world look like for them when I was gone? If they didn't have skills, if they didn't have knowledge, if they couldn't function, how would the world treat them? And I just couldn't live with that guilt. So that was my, if I fail, these are the bad things that are going to happen to my kids. And the reality is, things can still happen. And that's just the world we live in. But I was going to put it all out on the table. That was my deal. I was going to give it everything I had and more until I couldn't do anymore. Because there's always more we can do. So that's my why. Figure out yours and write it down. We're going to take 2 more minutes and then we're going to move on to the next thing. All right. So what we are going to do now is we're going to get into building a real work schedule. So building a real work schedule. This is what's going to help you build the habits that you need for the next 90 days and beyond. It's not just about the 90 days. It's actually about beyond. It's about building the pattern that you're going to follow going forward. And even if you shift how you do e-commerce, because there's so many different amazing ways to do e-commerce, you will build a new work schedule around your new model, whatever your new model is. So if you decide to outsource aspects of your e-commerce business to a VA, you decide to switch to print on demand, you decide you're going to do 100% drop shipping, or whatever, 75% drop shipping and 25%, whatever. You just build a new work schedule around it. And so the schedule is what's going to help you to be focused and consistent and build the habits, because that's what I found over the years. People have not built the habits that they need in order to be successful in the e-commerce space. They're just doing it, and then they stop doing it because something happened. Bobby's Little League game was interrupted. Sally had to go to the dentist. The car broke down. Whatever it happens to be, there's always going to be something. But if you build a work schedule, it'll help you build those habits. The habits are what's going to build the consistency, and the consistency is what gets you the money. So if you want to know which one gets you the most money, it's the consistency. Building the habits and consistently doing the right things. If you consistently do the wrong things, then you may not get the results you're wanting. But right now, a lot of people are making money even on accident. But consistently doing the right things are going to get you the numbers that you want. That's the thing you're going to find from the big sellers, the people who make the millions of dollars every single year, is that they are very, 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 very consistent in their business because they've built habits. They have systems in place. They are always focused on, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing right now, whatever it happens to be. So if you get interrupted in the middle of the day, you'd be like, this is not the time to do these things. So we're going to talk about that. So I need you to write down what's stopping you right now. What are your distractions? What's in your way? Is it that you're having a hard time focusing because you spend a lot of time on social media? Is it because you're having a hard time focusing because you're paying too much to the news? Is it that you're frustrated with whatever? Maybe it's I got cabin fever and I got to get out of the house. What is stopping you? What's in your way? Is it because the grandkids are coming over to the house every single day and during the time I should be working, the grandkids are there? Or what's stopping you? What is causing you to either be distracted in your business, to be inconsistent? What's in your way? Mine right now is my kids being home. They've been home since March. So I've had to rebuild my schedule twice. And just know that when you build a schedule, you can adjust it. You can adjust it. So what's in your way? What's your distraction? What's holding you back? Is it that you don't have enough hours in the day? Is it that, you're just spending too much time doing something else? Are you binge watching? I will tell you, we binge watched Monk. And we also binge watched Octonauts. Two completely different sets of shows. Octonauts are cartoons for little kids. And my son binge watched Octonauts, I think twice, probably over 100 episodes. If they don't have 100 episodes, it felt like it. And then Monk. So that's a complete distraction. That's a waste of time. So this is what I tell my son, Tony. I'm like, when you are online, you need to be making money. If you're on the computer, you need to be making money. You need to be generating money. You need to be working on making money. So you need to figure out what is it that you're doing that's causing you not to make money right now in your e-commerce business. Is it that you have a full-time job? So what is it that is causing you to either be distracted or focused on something else? Then after you write that down, and I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to do both of these, I need you to write down how many hours in a week, realistically, I need you to be honest with yourself. How many hours in a week or how many hours in a day can you really commit to your business? I want you to think about Sunday. And if Sunday, if you really don't want to work in your business, if Sunday is all about family or Sunday is all about relaxation and watching whatever on TV, okay, fine. A lot of people were committed to watching sports on Sundays, but all you got is the replays right now. So that focus has changed. How many hours a day? So maybe Sunday, you're committed to maybe investing 1 hour in your business. Maybe Monday, you really can commit to 2 or 3 hours in your business or 4 hours. Now I'm gonna tell you long-term, bigger picture, and we'll talk more about the numbers next week, that the more hours you can invest in your business during this 90-day window that you can consistently, and be honest with yourself, that you can consistently invest, the more money you could potentially make if you invest the time in the right things. You have to invest the time in the right things. So, so how many hours a day? How many hours a week? And then what's your most productive time of the day? Now, some of us, like if you're trying to do listings at night and you just have brain fog because you've given everything you got to the kids all day, or you've given everything you got to the job all day, or you've given everything you got to whatever, your spouse all day, or you're just fatigued with watching the news, then maybe the end of the day is not your most productive time of the day. When do you feel like you get the most done? Is it right in the morning when you first get up and your brain is fresh and you're not distracted with everything? Is it in the middle of the day after you've, maybe had lunch or, gone for a walk? When is your most productive time of the day? There are studies out there that will tell you that for most people, the most productive time of the day is sometimes after they've exercised, sometimes first thing in the morning. Those are typically the two most productive times of the day where people feel like, okay, the endorphins are going, the adrenaline is going. And so after people exercise, they can sit down and literally focus. So that is one of the hacks that I use with my kids, because they both suffer from ADHD, as do I. And so going out to walk or exercise or doing things first thing in the morning, I'm more productive. I get more stuff done. So we're going to take, it is now 10:50. I'm going to give you until 10:53. Write those down. Write down what's stopping you, what's your distraction, and then also your most productive time of the day, like all of those questions. And we'll come back. All right. Okay, so then we have next, we're going to talk about your selling hacks. So, not selling hacks, sorry, time management hacks. So I use Google Calendar. I'm going to actually show my screen real quick or my face. Let me just stop sharing for just a second. Okay. So at the Dollar Tree, I buy these little timers. And I set the timer for whatever activity. You can buy the little kitchen timers. You can buy them at the Dollar Tree. You can actually buy them in bulk and sell them too, but they're just little kitchen timers. Nothing exciting about them. But when it comes to trying to get activities done or get certain things done, I will use a timer in order to get that, get things done. In addition to that, I'm just telling you some of my hacks. I'm trying to unlock my phone, but clearly I don't know my password right now. So one of the other hacks that I use is I block time on my calendar, my Google Calendar, and we're going to go over Google Calendar exercise here real quick. But the other thing that I do is I use my alarms. So I have a boatload of meetings, and I don't know that you can see them all, but I have all these little alarms, and next to them, and let me see if I can find one. So I'll use the first one. So I have a VA that I meet with every single week, and it says Lyria touch base at 8 a.m. So since the meeting with her is at 8 a.m., I go in and I set an alarm for 2 minutes before. 2 minutes before I'm supposed to start the activity so that I can get the reminder, the notification. And it has the times in which I'm meeting with my VA. And then I have the volume on high. And I also write into my notes what the activity is. So when it's time for me to do listing, if there's listing activities that I'm doing, the great thing about the calendar or the phone notification is that I can choose all of the buttons and say, okay, this is my listing time. And I can write down here at the bottom, it's listing time. Okay. So that's one of the things that I do. I don't know if you saw that at the bottom. You can write that down that I'm supposed to start this activity. So I get a reminder when I'm getting ready to do just before I'm supposed to start an activity so that I don't forget what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. So another example would be our live Q&A sessions. So they're set up, and I set them up 2 minutes before. I'm supposed to do them every single Saturday. So I choose the radio buttons for the repeat. And then I have what it is that I'm about to do. So that when I try to dismiss the message, before I can dismiss it, I literally have to read what it says. I mean, I'll see what it says. And so that's one of my hacks that I use to try and stay on task, stay on point. My team tells me that I'm crazy and I'm ridiculous with my hacks, the different hacks that I use. I do use a Google Calendar, so I use timers. The other thing is when I first started listing and selling, I was selling on eBay, and eBay listing was just monotonous. For those of you, you can just raise your hand. Yes, listing on eBay is monotonous because you got all this stuff you got to go through the list. And then until you started doing sell yours, it was like, oh my God, this is taking forever. So what I would do is I would find a song, and I would find a song that ran for a long time or did repeats. And I would use that. If I said I was going to list for 1 hour or I was going to list for 2 hours, I would literally play that song in the background. Now, some people can't do that because it's like terribly annoying to them. So let me go back. Hold on. I got to escape from this. Let me stop sharing for just a second. Let me get out of this screen share for just a second. Exit. I'll come back to it. So one of the songs that I used to use was Happy. Because I don't know if you guys know that I just played on low in the background, and I just knew when the music started and I trained my brain to when the music started and the music ended, that's when I knew I was done. So if it moved to a completely different song, then I would be done at that point. So let me find, there's different hacks. I actually also created a playlist on a work playlist on YouTube. So let me see if I can find it. 1 hour. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen. So I would play the happy because here's the 10-hour version. It'll make you, if you want to listen to it, you can listen to it. But they actually put an hour version of happy out there. And what I would do is I would sing in my mind, in the back of my mind, I'd be humming happy because I'm getting money. I would have my own version that I would sing. So it would help me stay focused on listening consistently for 1 hour. And I couldn't stop until the entire 1 hour of the YouTube video was done. So that was one of my hacks. I also created a work playlist. So I have a work playlist. I think it's like 3 hours long or 2 hours long or something like that. My work groove. So this is my work groove, and 91 videos, 91. And so I literally would start the work groove, and I would put all the songs from the 80s and the 90s and 2000. All of those are in my work groove, and I would just click play. And that meant the entire time until that entire work group series was done, I could not stop doing whatever the activity was. So it helped me to stay focused. So if I was supposed to work for 3 hours, it was all stuff that was upbeat and happy and would help me move. I didn't have any slow jams, no slow jams, no slow jams. And so that's one of my hacks that I've used, is I would do stuff like that in order to help me stay consistent and stay focused, because sometimes it's hard just to stay focused on what you're doing. Sometimes it is. I get it. Trust me, it is. So those are a couple of that's just a couple of my hacks. I have a lot of hacks. Another one is, for some people, I've told them, you have a hard time focusing, pretend like you're going to a job. Because I've been working at home since 2008. It's 2020. I've been at home for 12 years. So clocking in, some people literally have to get up like they're going to a job, do their face and nails and everything. If they're going to work in their business for 4 hours or for 5 hours for that day, they got to pretend like they're clocking in. If you have kids, put a note on the door that maybe this is work time, so you're not allowed to bother me, or lock the door. Tell the kids, like, give them an activity. Say, okay, for 1 hour, you guys have to finish these puzzles and these workbooks. Or for 1 hour, you have to fold all the laundry. Or for 1 hour, whatever time you need, use hacks to help you get them done so that you can have focus time, especially when the fact that you have everybody at home right now. So, notify your kids, hey, mommy is working from 8 to 9. From 8 to 9 in the morning, you can go and watch cartoons and eat breakfast. Or from 8 to 9 in the morning, you need to whatever, do laundry or take a shower, brush your teeth, whatever it happens to be. Mommy is working. And then there are times in which I would actually physically leave the house. So if I needed to have silent time that I knew my kids were not going to allow me to have it, I would actually go to the community college, which is about a half a mile away from my house, or 3/4 of a mile away from my house. And I would go and sit in their library and I would work. So figure out some hacks that will work for you. I also have calendar notices, and so that you can stay focused and committed to whatever you're supposed to be doing during that hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours that you're going to work in your business. Write down some hacks that you think are going to work for you. So with that being said, the majority of the time that you're going to be investing, it needs to be on income producing activities. It cannot be on, I'm going to spend 5 hours watching training videos. That's not going to work. It has to be income producing activities. The income producing activities are the things that are going to make you money. So building the habit of consistency and building the habit of engaging in income producing activities, those are going to be your saving grace. That's what's going to help you get to the numbers that you're trying to get to. Okay. So I use time blocks. And like I said, if I need an hour to do this or an hour to do that, that is what I'm going to be focused on. Those things that I need an hour to do. Does that make sense to everybody? Am I making sense? You can say yes or no. Are you guys asleep? Am I boring? Hopefully I'm not boring. Okay, so so your time blocks, you do need time every, I would say you need time every month to learn something new. Once you get your groove going, you don't need time every week to learn something new. What happens is we get sucked into the YouTube vortex and we come out 3 hours later trying to figure out what was I doing and how was I there that long. So the putting in the hacks in place, like making sure that you have a timer on your phone that says, okay, this is learning time, and I am only going to spend 1 hour this week on learning. That's it, no more, because the rest of my time I need to be making money. Anytime I'm in front of the computer, I need to be making money. Anytime I'm on the internet or on social media, I need to be making money. You have to do that mind shift to say, if I'm engaging in this activity, is what I'm doing right now going to make me money, or is it stealing from me? Is it stealing money from me? Because time is money. So when you think about the amount of time that you spend on social media, the amount of time you spend watching the news, the amount of time you sit watching reruns, you're stealing from yourself. You are. If you are trying to make money and you're trying to build your business, you need to be spending your available time building your business and making money and engaging in income producing activities. Don't do mindless stuff. Sometimes we need mindless stuff because we're overwhelmed and our brain just can't take it anymore. And so I'm like, okay, if you need something mindless to do, go for a walk, go sit in the hot tub, go, if you're a person that loves to bake, go bake some cookies, do something else instead of sitting in front of the box and listening to the minutia that is on the news, on the internet, whatever the case may be. You've got to do this shift. And you have to invest all of your available energy and time for 90 days into activities that are going to make you money. So learning is important. If I were you, because you're doing stuff over the next 90 days, invest 1 hour a week into learning. No more. No more. I don't know what you put down as your realistic available time. So we're going to make a mock schedule based off of 20. Okay. We're going to make a mock. I'm going to make a mock schedule. You guys are going to build your own. Okay. Research and sourcing. The money is in the sourcing, because if you source right, you can make the profits. I'm not going to say that the things that you source are always going to be 100% profitable. I'd be lying to you if I did. That's just a lie. Some of the things that you source, and let's just say maybe 20% of your things that you source are going to make you a boatload of money, and then 40% of the things you source will make you some money, and then there might be the remaining 40% that is just like, okay, I got little drips coming in from those, or nothing happened. Sometimes that's the way it works. Sometimes that's just the way it works. We'll talk about different ways in which you can work on sourcing. But the key is that you got to build a schedule. We got to get this schedule thing resolved. We got to get this schedule thing done. All right. So build a schedule. We got to have time blocks. We need research and sourcing time, especially if you're doing online arbitrage. You got to have some researching and sourcing time. The researching and sourcing is not going to make you money. It is important in the flow of money. It is very important in the flow of money. But you can research all day until you do something with it. If you research all day and don't do anything with it, there is no way you're going to make any money with that. You have to do something with it. So if you research and you actually list an item, the activity of being able to find the listing is what's going to make you money. People cannot buy what they cannot find. People cannot buy what they cannot see. So you need to list the item. That is your income producing activity. So research, list. That is your income producing activity, listing. So list as you scan. If you're scanning and you're using your phone, you can scan from your phone onto your computer screen. For those of you that don't know, you can scan using the app and scan the image of things that you find online and click list from your phone if you're going to acquire it or you have acquired it. Just so you know. And then shipping is an income producing activity, believe it or not, because somebody has paid you for it if you're doing merchant fulfill. So if you want to retain that money, you need to ship the item. If you don't care about retaining the money, and you don't care about your seller matrix and losing your account, then don't ship the item. But I'm going to encourage you to ship the item because you want that payment to come to you from Amazon every 2 weeks. You will not get paid if you do not ship. Even if you're shipping the Amazon FBA, you don't get paid until you get the crap out of your house and into the warehouse. It may take them a while to check it in. If they may screw some stuff up, some stuff may go actually to suppress listings like, oh, we don't know what this is, or something fell off or something, because they got new people in there and they're screwing stuff up. But the point is, you need to list items, that's your income producing activity, and shipping items, whether it's shipping to Amazon or shipping to your fulfillment centers or shipping to your customer. Those are your income producing activities. And then you need to have time on your calendar to deal with customer service returns and whatever else. And then admin time in your business shouldn't exceed more than, an hour a week of admin time if you do it right. There's going to be some administrative stuff you may do throughout the week or throughout the day. You sprinkle it in here, sprinkle it in there. But if you need to do some hardcore reconciliation, reconciling, scanning in receipts, or whatever your process is, then you need to have some admin time. But it is not the majority of your time. If you do your admin work right, then you will be able to get, you'll be able to spend less time doing admin and more time doing stuff that's going to make you money. So list, that makes you money. All right, so we're going to build a realistic schedule for 1 week. And then after, you guys are going to do the other part on your own. You're going to build a realistic schedule for the next 90 days. So let's look at what that might look like. Let me see what's next. I don't know what's next. Oh, creating your account. All right, let's go. And I am going to go into, I have so many calendars. So I'm going to clear out all the stuff. And we're going to play with a calendar. I'm going to put it under tasks. So let me start with this. For those who don't know, you can go into calendars and you can actually create new calendars. You can add a new calendar, sorry. When you go under calendars, there's other calendars, okay? And you can create a brand new calendar that is just for you. So the first thing, if you don't have a Gmail account, please go create a Gmail account right now, because we're going to use Gmail because it's easy. Gmail allows you to create Google Docs and have Google Drives, and it's so easy. So step one, go create a Gmail account. If you don't have one, then go create one, okay? Step two, we're going to go to calendars. We're going to uncheck whatever's already there because we don't care about it. We care what we don't care. And we're going to go straight to other calendars, and we're going to create a new calendar for productivity, okay? So you're going to click on the plus. You're going to click on create new calendar. Type in the chat when you're there, please. Let me know when you're there. I got one, got it. I only got one. Only got one. I need another, got it. All right, when you click on create new calendar, you can name the calendar. So we're gonna call this our 90-day challenge. You can call it whatever you want to. You can call it your 90-day challenge. You can call it your Amazon work calendar, Amazon work calendar, Amazon productivity calendar. I don't care what you call it, okay? Whatever's gonna work for you, call it something that you know you will do or you will be able to recognize, okay? All right, so then we're going to set your time zone. It's not my right time zone. And central. Set your time zone. It's going to go to whatever calendar you happen to be in at the time and click on create calendar. Once you have created the calendar, then now you have, when you go back, I clicked back, there is my Amazon productivity calendar that I have created for this exercise. Okay, so then I'm going to go in and I'm actually going to put in some time blocks. So Nicole said I need some time for learning. So maybe I allot once a week after church Maybe I allot 1 hour for learning. A learning time. Maybe you do it twice a week, your call, you decide. I'm going to click on options. When you come into options, you can choose to repeat if you want to. You can say, I'm only going to do this for whatever time. You say this is going to be weekly on Sundays. This is going to be my dedicated learning time. And I'm going to give it maybe a different color. So if it's my learning time, maybe I give it yellow. And so now it will forever show up on my weekly calendar until I end it, because I didn't end it. It never ends because I clicked on custom. And that is my dedicated learning time. That is when I'm going to sit down and I'm going to focus. Now, because I'm a nerd and because I'm Nicole, I'm literally going to go to my phone and I'm going to go to Sunday at 1 o'clock and put an alarm that this is learning time. So now I have it on my calendar and I have it on my phone. And you can set up notifications. Let me just show you. I did not do that, sorry. Add a notification. I like to get notifications. You can add an email or notification. If you're a person that reads your emails, it can send you an email before you're supposed to do this activity, or it can send you a notification before you're supposed to do this activity. And depending on how you have your notifications turned on your phone, it'll set it up. But if this is what you're committing, that I'm going to either increase my knowledge or whatever for the next 90 days, I'm going to set up 1 hour of learning time. Everybody got that? Okay. So I didn't make any changes. So now it's on my calendar forever and a day. This is the custom calendar. And then you can display or not display that calendar. If you don't want to display that calendar when you go to calendars, now let me just back up. When you log into Gmail, let me get everybody on the same page. When you log into Gmail, click on the Rubik's Cube. I call it the Rubik's Cube. You can call it the 9 dots, whatever. It's up at the top near your initials. I'm doing it in circles up here. Click on the Rubik's Cube. And when you do that, go to calendar. And once you go to calendar, that's how I got here. So create your Gmail account. Then after you create your Gmail account, click on the Rubik's Cube. Once you click on the Rubik's Cube, go to calendar. That's how I got here. Is everybody with me? I want to make sure everybody's with me. Then this next step was to create a new calendar for productivity purposes, because I am committed to this 90-day challenge that this lady is harping about. This Nicole person. All right. Okay, so then the next thing after I do my learning time, go put your other times in. So when you said, I'm going to do one that's based off of 20 hours, you do one based off of what's realistic for you. You wrote down in a previous exercise how much time you really had available to you every single week. If you're a person, maybe you're a firefighter, and so your schedule changes from week to week. So maybe you have an alternating schedule that on my off weeks, I can work this many hours, and my on weeks, I can work this many hours. Maybe you're a nurse, and so you're doing 12-hour stints. I don't know what your situation is, but you do. So now I'm going to say that I'm going to be productive in my business 6 days a week, because I want to make that cheddar. I want to make that coin. And my most productive time is in the morning. So I'm going to come in here and I am going to create a new event. And this is when I'm going to do my product research. Okay. Or sourcing. Okay. You can name it whatever makes sense to you. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to choose a different color. Choose a completely different color. I want this thing to repeat, and I want it to repeat Monday. So what I did was, let me just get you there. I clicked on do, I came down to custom. I chose that I wanted to repeat Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I'm going to commit to doing sourcing research, and I'm going to go all the way up until, let's say I'm doing this until this workshop is over. So I'll do it until the 15th, but it ends on the 15th. And I'm going to click done there. So now it's going to repeat all those days every single week until the 15th. And I'm going to say, I'm going to do sourcing for 2 hours. I'm going to do research and sourcing for 2 hours. What does that mean to me? I can choose on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, I go out and physically source, and I can choose Tuesday, Thursday, whatever, and I can source online. So you decide. So maybe you do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday where you go physically go source out and you block off. Maybe on those days I expand it to 8 until 11 and I do my sourcing in the morning, 8 until 11. And then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, I source online and I just do 8 to 10. Do whatever works for you. So I just gave an example. I'm going to actually create that. So let me just go create that so you can see how I did it. Okay, choose done, change this to 3 hours. I'm physically going to go out somewhere and I'm going to source. Okay. I'm going to save that. Now it's going to show up. So if I'm going to stay in and source, I'm going to do online. Okay, I'm going to make it orange, or I can make it a lighter orange if you want to. Your call, you decide. I'm going to set up a notification 10 minutes before. I'm going to do it for 2 hours. I'm going to click on do not repeat, go to custom. On the custom, I'm going to do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and I'm going to say that it ends. And I'm going to choose August the 15th, and I am done. I'm going to save it. Now, this is my new productivity schedule. Everybody see what I'm doing there? So here's the deal. When I'm out and about, I'm going to do what's called sourcing. I'm going to do scan and list, which means I'm going to list everything that I scan that I have put into my shopping cart. I'm literally going to scan and list. List. Okay? Whereas when I am doing online sourcing, I can use my phone, my app, and I can scan and list from my app. I can scan my screen if I'm doing online sourcing, and I can click list. So now it's in my Amazon back office. See how I did that? Now it's in my Amazon back office. So if I click on scan and list while I'm out and about, I don't have to come home and list. I've already got it in my inventory. If I do online and I'm going to buy it, I can do scan and list by scanning the image online and clicking list there. Everybody got that? I think I covered that in a tip too early, but that's okay. Then the next thing is, the next thing that Nicole said that we need to do is we need to have a listing activity. So we already did most of our listing. I am going to go ahead and add at least an extra hour of listing, because sometimes you get stuff and you don't know, like I couldn't scan it, or it scanned weird, or I think there's multi-packs, or some other extra activity. I think there's some sort of multi-pack. I'm going to call this one's going to be green. I'm going to set a notification on it. I'm going to go to custom. I'm going to choose my Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm going to choose until August the 15th. I'm going to click done. I'm going to save. So this is for those things that I really cannot figure out. Like, I know it exists, but I couldn't find it. Something weird is going on, blah, blah, blah. And then just so I have an extra padded time, if there's something else that I'm sourcing, like I want to do multi-packs, I want to create a custom listing, I want to do something different, I'm going to add a listing activity. So the assumption is that the majority of the items you're going to sell, you're going to do piggybacking. But the items that you can't do piggybacking, you physically have to create a listing. Make time for that. It's green because green represents money. And so it's a green activity. And I am going to go to custom, and I am going to choose Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. I'm going to choose done, and I'm going to hit save. So now I have my listing activities. All right. We're cooking with grease now. Everybody follow me? So then it says the next thing I need to do is I need to ship. I don't know which calendar I'm on. Oop, that's not it. All right. So I know I'm going to get sales. Initially, I may not get as many sales as I would like, but I'm going to get some sales. That means I got to ship some stuff. So depending on your model, if you're doing FBA, here's the rule of thumb that I personally follow. You can choose something different. If I am outsourcing for 3 hours, I am going to assign a 3-hour shipping activity if I'm sending it to FBA. If I am online sourcing for 2 hours, I'm going to assign a 2-hour shipping activity. Well, but I'm going to actually do a future dated because you're going to have a cycle here. You're going to buy things and then it's going to come in and then you're going to have to do something with it. So when stuff comes in, you're not going to necessarily do anything with it potentially on that day if you're a person that's buying online and having stuff shipped to you. You may have to deal with it on another day that's designated for shipping for online items. So because it's cyclical, I'm going to be doing this over and over again. Stuff is going to come in. I only work on my online stuff that came in on Tuesdays, or I only work on it on Thursdays or Fridays or whatever. Okay. So if I'm sending it into Amazon, I am going to allow, if I did 2 hours worth of sourcing, I'm going to do 2 hours worth of shipping activity. That doesn't mean that it's really going to take me 2 hours to do it. It may take me an hour to do it, but I'm going to block that time so that I am at least reserving that time if I'm trying to get my time, get consistency in my business and get the results that I'm trying to get. Okay. So that's the rule of thumb if I'm doing FBA. If I am sourcing and I am out physically doing stuff or I'm having stuff shipped to me and I'm just going to ship it to the customer, then I'm going to allot some time every single day to ship stuff to customers because you don't know what kind of sales you're going to get. Some days are going to be heavy. Some days are going to be light. You want to keep your metrics good. So you need to allot some time. So going back to whatever time you said was available, at this point, we got 3 hours here. So that's 3 times 3 is 9. Let's just all keep it together. Let's keep it together. Let me get a notepad. Keep it together. What have we done? So we talk about our hours so that we are actually building a realistic, if this thing will move. It's not going to move, is it? It's not going to move. Let's move this thing. There we go. Okay, so we're going to have a realistic working schedule. So I got 9 hours of outsourcing. That sounds wrong. 9 hours I'm sourcing outside of the house. Okay, so I'm physically doing RA, and I've got 6 hours of OA. I've got 5 hours of listing. So I think, you know, I've gone over my number, but we're going to keep it going. I'm over my 20 hours already. I got 1 hour of learning. So you're going to have to make adjustments is what I'm trying to get at. Okay. So I got 1 hour of learning. That's all I've got right now. I need more time because I have to go ahead and I've got to ship stuff to customers and I got to deal with customer service and returns. Okay. So to ship stuff for customers, again, that's my next activity, and then customer service and returns and admin. I got a lot of stuff. So to ship stuff for customers, what I'm going to do is, I don't know what kind of shipping activity you're doing. If you're doing FBA, I've already told you my rule of thumb. If you're doing seller fulfilled or merchant fulfilled, I'm going to start off with an hour. I'm going to start off with an hour. So I'm going to allot an hour every single day. The reality is it's going to take more than an hour. But because we're just, well, probably go ahead and put 2 hours. But I'm just going to put an hour for right now because we don't know what's going to sell when. Okay, so I'm going to make it this color. And I'm going to allot an hour. I'm going to repeat. This is going to go to August the 15th. Okay. All right. And then over here on shipping when stuff comes in from, I know. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. There is one additional activity I have to do. So hold on. I forgot. I'm going to move this down. I got to squeeze something in. So I acquired inventory. I listed it. I need to organize it once it comes in. So I'm going to just allot myself at least 30 minutes to just kind of organize. That's more of an admin type of thing. It doesn't make you money. but you're going to put it in some kind of order or file it, or everything that's baby related, I put it on this shelf or in this tub. And we use tubs. I don't know if you've heard Kelly's training, where we talk about putting your stuff in tubs that makes sense. And you also need to list it based on when you acquired it. So keep your receipts, blah, blah, blah. But for the purposes of this exercise, to keep yourself organized and keep everything straight, I kind of categorize stuff. So I got a bunch of toys, I got a bunch of baby stuff, I got a bunch of stuff for automotive. So I'm going to put them in tubs so that when the item sells, I'm not trying to figure out, is it in the garage? Is it in the kitchen? Is it in the storage unit? Is it in the closet? Where is it? I'm going to put it in the tub, and I'm going to designate a place in the house where all the stuff that I bought is in the tub. So when it sells, I can just go to the tub and get it. Does that make sense? So I'm going to organize my acquisitions. You can call it whatever you want to. That's just what I'm calling it. I'm going to repeat this. I am going to keep it gray because it's not an income producing activity. I'm putting 30 minutes on there. If you're not doing seller fulfilled or merchant fulfilled, then you don't care about this activity. But it is something you need to do so that you know what's where and how to find it when people buy stuff. Otherwise, you're host. And some of you that have done this for a while, you'll be like, yeah, I can't find, I don't know what, I sold this thing. Now I'm spending 10 hours trying to find it. I've searched all over the house. I can't find it. Okay. All right. So a listing activity, and then you're going to have stuff that comes in. You do have a kind of an admin organized activity here. Yeah, and it's probably not going to really be this long when stuff comes in from your suppliers and stuff, or wherever you ordered it. I don't know where you ordered it. Okay. So this is organize your acquisitions, whatever's come in. All right. So now we've got this. We've got it for 30 minutes. Okay. Oh, we're in. Yeah, I did it right. Okay. Okay. Oops. 30 minutes. And the great thing about this is you can steal time from other blocks if you're done. So if it only took you like 15 minutes to label what you needed to label, or, you know, remove the labels off of stuff, or, you know, whatever you need to do, you need to organize it, you need to clean it up, you need to whatever. This is your window in which to do that really quick. I got to take the stickers off of stuff. I need to wipe stuff down. I'm going to catalog it, put it in the file thing, whatever. I'm done. Okay. So if your shipping activity is longer, then your shipping activity is longer. Okay, so then the next thing is you're going to have, I have to put my shipping activity that is related to purchases that people buy. And I will tell you, based on what I know, like a lot of people are doing retail arbitrage right now, they're spending a lot of time shipping. I mean, it really is a lot of time. I'm just going to be honest. So I get why people want to do FBA. I do. That's the reason why I'm like, just do a prep center instead. It is a lot. It's a lot right now. It's a lot. So an hour is not realistically enough time. As you start to build up inventory, you should probably allot at least 2 hours, if not 3, depending on what happens. If your sales are aplenty, like you've been listing like crazy, then you're probably going to need to allot 2 or 3 hours. But if your sales are not aplenty as you're starting off, your sales will not be heavy. They're going to be light. So now we've got all of these activities. We got a shipping activity. You can adjust this based off of what you have. So since we're doing 6 days a week, let's go back over here. So my shipping is, now I'm at 5 hours for shipping. And then you have other administrative work. So I'm going to put my other administrative work over here. This is computer time. This is logging your receipts, tracking your sales, knowing your numbers. People don't do this. People don't do this. People don't do this. Okay? This is an activity that you should be doing. I'm just going to tell you. You can allot an hour. You can allot 2 hours, whatever works for you. But you need to have some time to, this is computer time. This is admin. This is reconciliation. You need to reconcile. You need to deal with whatever is happening. This is computer time. Log your receipts. get stuff cataloged for your accounting and the IRS. Just get your life together. Make sure you're doing, this is all bookkeeping. I guess that's what we should call it. Reconciling bookkeeping. Lots of time for it. You may not spend 2 hours, depending on how organized you are throughout your week, because you've allotted a little bit of time to track some stuff here. And then the last thing that we need to do is we need to have some customer service time. So I'm going to put customer service and returns, and you don't know what you're going to be dealing with. So at least a lot returns and questions. Now, customer service returns and questions can actually generate you money. If a customer is asking a question about a specific product, or they're asking a question about the size of something, or they want to know, does it come in 3 colors, or whatever the case may be, that could actually generate a sale for you. So I don't care what platform you're on, you should always have some kind of time to deal with some form of customer service and to answer questions and to deal with things. And I would encourage it. I made this a dark green because it is an income producing activity, or it can produce income. And then dealing with returns can also, help you with your customer matrix. You're going to have stuff. Initially, when you first start, you're not going to have this much stuff. I can't spell today. Clearly, I can't talk. So I'm just going to call this customer service because we got to move on. We're already at an hour and a half. So, who needs to take a break? Who needs to take a break before we go on? Can I keep going? Tell me if I can keep going. Can I keep going? Is this good? Keep going. This is great stuff. Yes, I'm good. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully this is good stuff, because a lot of people don't organize their businesses in a way that's going to make them operationally efficient. You got to be efficient and focused on what you're doing. So now you have a game plan. You need to adjust your calendar and make changes. So this is what I do. When I build my real work schedule, then I come in and I schedule everything else outside of the schedule. If I've got to go get my tags, I don't schedule to go get my tags at 8 o'clock in the morning because I'm making money at 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't go schedule my dentist appointment or my doctor's appointment at 8 o'clock in the morning. I do it in the afternoon. So when you build a real work schedule, it forces you to go, you know what? I am literally going to be working from 8 o'clock until 2 o'clock. Everything else I need to do, cooking dinner for the kids, teaching the kids how to do math, has to happen after this window. I can't do it during this window. Does that make sense? So without a real work schedule, what ends up happening is that you really don't get to see your real productivity. You don't get to see your real focus time. You get some random hodgepodge of things that are really not your true focus time. So that is the reason why we build a real work schedule. Okay, she says, keep going. Okay, all right. Okay, so now that we've got ourselves sort of a real work schedule, going back to the spreadsheet, you've got all these different categories, you've color coded them, you know when you're making money, when you're not making money, and you can swap the colors on these two, but whatever works. But you need to have, oh, I forgot to change the color on this one, sorry. So admin time, we'll name that blue. You should, you should always have some type of admin time, especially if you're making a lot of money. Especially if you're like, your sales are going to actually start going up when you're consistent in your business, and this schedule helps you to build consistency. So again, make adjustments to what's realistic based on your life, how you run your business, and then schedule everything else around it. Maybe your schedule is at nighttime. All of these activities happen at night. Maybe it's a break up the day thing. Maybe you do 2 hours worth of work in the morning and then you do 3 hours worth of work in the evening. I don't know, but make it work based off of your life, what's happening with your kids or whatever, and your business. And then you schedule everything else in the middle of the day. You got calls with the doctor or dentist if you're doing video stuff with the doctor and dentist. You got other stuff you got to do your grocery shopping. You should always be sourcing when you grocery shop. But Just saying. This is going to improve your productivity, trust me, and your consistency. So now that we've done all this fun stuff, the next thing that we're going to do, and I am Yuri, I'm going to invite you to come to the 2 o'clock. I'm just going to talk briefly about creating your account because we're already into an hour and a half or hour. We're into a lot of time. So we're going to go ahead and just talk high level. The things I just want you to know for those of you that need to create an account. The first thing is you shouldn't use your buying account to create your selling account. Don't do that. You need to create a completely separate account that is just your selling account. I recommend that. Make sure my recommendations for you to have a pro account. You have access to so much more. If you need to start off with just the free account, you're going to have some limitations. So if you have to do that as a starting point, it does cost you to have a seller account. Then do what you need to do based on your current financial situation. I don't know what your budget is. I don't know what your finances look like, but do what you need to do based off of your current situation. Okay? Then you need to make sure that when you're getting ready to sit down and do your account, that you have that new email address that you create. So I have a separate email address that I've created for my, my Amazon selling account. Your username, whatever you're going to use. So you really don't need a username. You're just going to use your email address, your business or store name, and your EIN or your social security number. If you're an LLC, if you have an LLC or you're a sole proprietorship, you've got an EIN established, and go ahead and put that in. If you don't have one, you don't have to have one to start the business. Long-term big picture, if you're doing this long-term big picture, you should get one. That is a completely different discussion for a later time. Just know after you get over a certain number of threshold in sales, there's some things that Amazon is going to want you to have. So do I need one to start today? No. Should I get one long-term bigger picture if I'm going to do this for a long time? Yeah, you should. And you also want to apply to get your reseller's permit, license, certificate, whatever it's called in your state. You do that with your comptroller. Ours is Texas comptroller. You should get that long-term bigger picture. Warning, before you start that, know that when you get your reseller certificate, license, whatever you call it in your state, that it is going to kickstart the engine of additional taxes that will be required by your state or the federal government on a regular basis. For the state of Texas, we have to do quarterlies. Different states make them do monthlies, quarterlies, whatever your state is, follow your state guidelines, but don't ignore them. I have a huge lesson that I learned the hard way back in 2012 when I had a candy vending business, that I ignored them and they seized my bank account. So don't kickstart the engine of filing with to get the state piece started until you are ready to be consistent in your business and you can do quarterlies. Or monthlies, whatever your state requires. And I would encourage you to get a CPA and or somebody that can help you with consistently reconciling your books. You do not want to be in trouble with the state or the federal government. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I would encourage you, make sure that you have a business address. So if you're doing it out of your home, just think about you're shipping from your home address is going to be on things and or where things are going to be returned. So I have a PO box, so that helps me. You can get up there used to be a company called Mailboxes, etc. They don't exist anymore. So a lot of people, what they do is they use they buy a mailbox at not the USPS, but they buy one from a third party like Mailboxes, whatever. And they use the physical address of that particular location and they put suite, whatever their mailbox number is. So you can do that. That's a great way to do this. So I just encourage you to do that. You want to get some business insurance, and always, 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 please make sure that you have a separate bank account for all of your business transactions, all your payments that are coming in from Amazon, where you're going to be doing your purchases, like get a card. So set up a bank account. Don't commingle your funds. Again, I have a lot of lessons that I've learned over the years when it comes to this part of the business. that we do not have time for. So I'm just going to encourage you, separate bank account. Don't go kickstarting the engine of filing with your state for a reseller certificate or license unless you're ready to do quarterlies or monthlies or whatever it is for your state, and set up a completely separate account. Get a P.O. box, and if you get one with one of the little mailbox shop, whatever's, then your mailbox number is your suite. And the great thing about that is when returns come, most of those places have people there physically. You can do it with UPS too. And so they'll make sure that your stuff is somewhere where you can get to it when it's returned to you. So that's the high level that I wanted to cover real quick on that. And yeah, speaking of distractions, my landlord just showed up to talk to me during this workshop. See? All right. Hopefully you guys are getting value in this workshop. I really do hope you're getting value. So now we're going to get into sourcing. So are you getting value so far? I know we've been going, it's 11:44. Are you getting value? All right, so now we're going to be consistent. We are going to be consistent. We're going to be focused. We're going to get this crap done. We're going to make this business work. We build a real schedule. We're going to focus on that schedule. We know our why. We put it up on our wall. We have all of these things like what is going to happen if I fail, so that I know that I'm focused on the things that are going to make me money. I know what the income producing activities are. Now let's go make some money. So one of the things that I said was a big deal was sourcing. So I don't know what your sourcing budget is. I have no idea. I don't know what your available funds are. So you guys, your activity is you got to write down how much money you think you can invest in your business every single week. If it's $25, be honest with yourself and write down $25. If it's $50, if it's $100, if it's $200, if it's $1,000, what could you consistently invest in your business every single week for the next 90 days, the next 12 weeks? What could you consistently invest in your business every single week for 90 days and not touch it? I need you to think about that. So if you say I can consistently invest $1,000, but I need to get, I need to fund 500 out of there, then change your number. Maybe you can consistently invest $500 every single week for 12 weeks and you would be okay. Maybe you really can only invest $50 every single week for 12 weeks. And there will be some weeks where you can invest above that, but you realistically, I gotta make sure I can only take $50 out of my family's bank account. What is that number? So I will say in some cases, the higher the number, the more money you can make long-term, bigger picture consistently. So you do over time want to try and get that number up higher, but you also want to use strategies that are going to help you acquire inventory dirt cheap. Oh my gosh. Yes. Strategies to acquire inventory dirt cheap. Okay. So I'm assuming you wrote down your budget. I want you to really kind of think about that. We're going to talk about that again next week because that ties into your numbers. We really haven't spent a lot of time talking about your numbers. Okay. So I want you to think about reinvesting 90% of your, whatever you spend. I already told you, keep your receipts, track your mileage. We have TaxBot. I will share that with you guys. We have a link to TaxBot. And so we encourage you, whatever you're using, like TaxBot, I'm going to sidebar for just a second. When I go to a store and I buy, I literally scan the receipt. I take a picture of the receipt right then. So as soon as I buy it, before I leave the register, before I walk away, I take the receipt, I write some words on the top of it, I write down inventory, I circle the date, and then, and if there's anything else I need to write that's special about this, I'll write that on the receipt. I take a picture of the entire receipt with my phone, and then I take that picture and I email it to myself. So this is a sidebar, this is not here, and I'm going to add it for future training. For those of you that have been training with me for a while, you already know this, but I'm going to walk everybody else through it. When you create your Gmail account for your business, that's great. I want you to create a separate second Gmail account. So this is not on your screen. So just please catch this when I'm talking about it. Create a second Gmail account that is your name and the word tax on the end. So NicoleTax@gmail.com. With NicoleTax@gmail.com, what I do is when I take a picture of that receipt with my phone, I take a couple of pictures of it because sometimes, you know, depending on shadows and whatever else, try to flatten out the receipt, take the picture. Before I walk away, before I get in my car, before I lose the receipt and walk out the door and it blows down the street, I take a picture and I email it to NicoleTax@gmail.com. Okay? I email it to NicoleTax@gmail.com. Anytime I place orders for anything that I bought online, when I'm doing online arbitrage, I forward those invoices or receipts to NicoleTax@gmail.com. Anytime I'm downloading reports from Amazon of anything that I've done and I'm getting my numbers, I forward those reports over to NicoleTax@gmail.com. So I do this all the time. And so before I fold up this receipt and put it into my bag or put it into my wallet or whatever, I literally scan that receipt or take a picture of it. And then when I get in the car, I can take my phone and email that picture to NicoleTax@gmail.com, and I don't have to think about it anymore. I'm still going to come home and I'm going to scan the receipt into my Neat so I have it, or put it into my files just in case I need to return any of this inventory. But the point is, I've already got the receipt. What's going to happen at the end of a month when I'm trying to do reconciliation of my business transactions or the amount of money I've spent in my business? I've gotten bills that I've had to pay. I'm paying, like if I have a subscription to inventory labs or whatever the tools are that people are using, technical arbitrage, let's see, ESM inspector. Like I have all these, I have a bunch of different tools that I don't use. That's just the sad reality. So, and some I use, but the majority of them I don't use. What's going to happen at the end of the month when I go into my email account for NicoleTax@gmail.com? Everything that I bought, every debit and credit is in there. Every single debit and credit is in there. I download my bank statements and I forward them to NicoleTax@gmail.com. I send all my email receipts to NicoleTax@gmail.com. Download reports from Amazon, they go there. Any transactions for separate shipping that I bought goes to NicoleTax@gmail.com. When it is time to reconcile everything or do my taxes, is my accountant going to be happy with me? Because I literally am creating a folder for the month of May. Then I create a folder for the month of June, and I put all those emails into those email folders so that when my accountant goes in, my inbox is clean, everything is in folders, and he can just log into my account and go, okay, I can reconcile your bills. 99.9% of everything that I've done in any transaction in any kind of way is in NicoleTax@gmail.com. So are you guys going to do that strategy? Because I encourage you to. It'll help you to stay organized when it comes to dealing with the IRS, because I had to learn the hard way. So go and create a separate email account now. Do that and begin the process of separating your world so that you can keep track of everything. There are tools that you use, different people use different things, but when someone is first starting off with Amazon or starting off with any platform, I don't recommend you go buy a boatload of tools. You need to be into profit for at least the first 90 days consistently before you upscale to any type of tools or accessories. I'm just telling you, really. I think that you use all the free stuff that you can get your hands on when you first start your operations, because if you haven't bought or read the book, Profit First, you need to profit first before you go and I got this subscription and that subscription. No, you don't need all those subscriptions. That's also one of the reasons why we lowered the eCom Sellers Academy, because we are adamant about people making money first. Like, we want you to make money. There's no need for you to spend all this money on all this software and all. You can do some of this stuff without it. So that being said, we're going to talk about sourcing. So sourcing around your house, sourcing and finding items around your house. So that's you getting started. I don't have time to share my story, but the short version of my story is I literally reached out to everybody that I knew, church, family, friends, next door neighbors, and said, give me the stuff, the crap that's just been sitting in your house that you haven't been using, and give me that so I can sell it. I hosted probably about 12 garage sales. And this was before I finally started selling in garage sale groups. And, and then I started listing stuff on eBay. And I made friends with a guy who was a reseller. He was actually a guy that used to go, a profit picker. He would go to yard sales and stuff. I made friends with him. He had a 17,000 square foot warehouse of inventory. And I would scan and list inventory, not scan, I would list inventory for him. I would take pictures and list inventory for him. And I would also list all the free stuff. In my first couple of months, I think I made close to $5,000 or $6,000 just without spending one dime, without spending any money in my first month by using that method of selling a boatload of stuff. And this was after the garage sale stuff, because I did my garage sales over like 2 years. And I just kept asking people for stuff. And then people got on autopilot and just started telling other people, hey, I know this lady who has 2 special needs kids. She's trying to raise money for her therapies. So if you got some stuff, give it to me and I'll give it to her and she'll sell it and she can make money for her kids for therapy, because she's not getting child support and she's not getting help from the state. And that was true. That's the honest to God truth. Okay, so that was my story, short version. Then, so there's going to be sales, thrift stores. A lot of thrift stores right now are offering 50% off of a boatload of stuff because they're not getting traffic. They're trying to figure out how to get people in there. And people don't want to touch stuff that other people have touched, like because of COVID-19. Everybody is just concerned. So I get it. But there is a treasure trove of inventory. Always keep your receipts. My rule of thumb is rarely ever list things as brand new from a thrift store, just rarely. And consider other platforms for stuff from thrift stores as well. Church sales, yard sales, that kind of stuff. And then there's a lot of store closures. So we've got store closures aplenty. You've got Pier 1 is closing. Is it Neiman Marcus or Nordstrom's? They're like, and we have like Nordstrom's rack around the corner from my house. Like, it's just ridiculous. Because I live in Frisco, Texas. We have any of your outlet malls, like a boatload of your outlet malls, they have stuff discounted. Everybody right now has a bunch of stuff discounted because they haven't been getting traffic. People don't want to go to stores and they want to get you into the store because they still got to pay for the building, the lights, the employees. So they want you in the stores. So if you're up for doing retail arbitrage, there's a treasure trove of inventory out there for you right now. I just want to say that that's a fact. Okay, so if you sell things for other people, how much did you charge? So I charged, they got to keep, when I sold things for other people, I listed for other people. I didn't know what I was doing. So, I mean, I knew what I was doing, but I was new to trying to figure that out. So I told him that I would keep 40% and give him 60%. At this point in my life, I probably would have flipped that around and said, you can have 40%, I'll take 60%. So that's what I did. So, and then things that are going to, for low cost to some cost, retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, there's a lot of money to be made in that. Clearance, there's a lot of clearance. Oh my gosh. So process this, if you will. Walmart has been getting a boatload of foot traffic in the grocery section of the store, but the other parts of the store have just been ignored. Other than toys, because parents are trying to find stuff for their kids to do. So they're buying toys and stuff like that. So there's some traffic over in toys, but every other part else, health and beauty, they've gotten traffic, grocery, they've gotten traffic. Other parts of the store where they typically sell stuff, they've gotten very little traffic. They've gotten some, but very little. So those other parts of the store are getting neglected right now. And some prices are shifting and you're finding more stuff that's on clearance that you're not expecting. Why? Because Walmart has bought their stuff. They bought their stuff 18 months ago, 18 to 24 months ago. Process that, if you will. These orders for stuff that they place in orders, because traditionally before COVID-19, they would place orders for things 18 to 24 months from now. So they already know what inventory is coming in for Christmas. They already know what inventory is coming in for Halloween. They already know what inventory is coming in for Valentine's Day and Mother's Day next year. They've already ordered that stuff, okay? So what happens is when those things that they were expecting to move and that they would rotate in the stores do not move as they expected. So hypothetically, let's talk about Mother's Day. So Mother's Day, they would have a section of the store where they would have a boatload of Mother's Day gifts, and they're expecting a lot of foot traffic for Mother's Day, but COVID-19 showed up, and so they didn't get the foot traffic. So what did they do to the majority of those Mother's Day things? Because they had to rotate the next thing in to that same spot in the store, you know, the seasonal section. They put a boatload of the Mother's Day stuff on clearance just to get rid of it. And in one of my Walmart stores that I went into, when you walk into the front of the store, they had a little prop-up sign that they used for mopping the floors. They put a sign on it in the front that said clearance in front of the mop-up, you know, little TP thing, the yellow TP thing. Anyway, they put a sign in front of it that said clearance and pointing you to the clearance section because they have to move all of the Mother's Day stuff out and put the next set of things up. Oh, we got to get stuff ready for Memorial Day. So then that Memorial Day section is filled up. Now they have to sell all of that stuff on clearance and put the next thing up that they're supposed to. Oh, Father's Day. Again, they've already bought this stuff. So they're sitting on inventory. So they have to make two decisions. Do we clearance some of this stuff so we can make space for this stuff on the aisles? Or do we go ahead and put it back in the warehouse and hold on to it for next year and reduce our orders for the coming year for whatever we were already going to order for Father's Day or Mother's Day? Because again, they've already ordered Father's Day for 2021. It was already ordered 18 months ago. They already knew what they were going to have. So this is how the cycle of the stores, if you understand how the stores work, you know that they're sitting on a boatload of inventory that they're like freaking out. Can you help us get ungated? I'm gating into it. Yeah, we're going to talk about ungating next week. All right. So that being said, take advantage of the clearance. Use coupons if you're doing online arbitrage. Use rebates, cashback cards. And you can acquire inventory below wholesale right now. You really can. And I'm being honest. There is so much inventory out there that you can acquire below inventory. It's ridiculous, especially with the liquidations. And if you're going to buy inventory in bulk with wholesalers, you can still do that. But some of the ways in which we do it, we teach you can get inventory below that. So let's keep going. All right, so these are some of the stores. If you want to take a screenshot of this, you'll also have the recording because this is a long recording. So you can make a note of the time. This was like, oh God, 12:01. I'm gonna speed this up. So make a note of the stores. But the point that I'm making is there's a plethora of stores out here that have inventory that people are not taking advantage of or don't appreciate. One of the stores that really has very limited space, but also does the seasonal things is the grocery stores. So I have seen stuff where the grocery stores have sold Easter for 90% off. So what does that mean for Easter for you next year? Because people are still going to be online. We're still going to be in the flu season and or COVID season when Easter comes around next year. What does that mean for you? Did any of you take advantage of any of the great deals for the Mother's Day clearance? Did you take advantage of clearance for Cinco de Mayo or Memorial Day? You know, red, white, and blue sells all the freaking time. And especially during an election year, red, white, and blue sells like crazy. So I get stuff with red, white, and blue all the time that don't say Memorial Day, that don't say 4th of July, and don't say Veterans Day Labor Day, because I can use it for other stuff. I can use it for election year stuff. So take a screenshot. I would love to talk about all of these, but I'm not going to be given time to do that. All right. Then the next one is if you do not want to go out and do sourcing, there's other options. Again, that depends on how much money you have available to you. Knowing that you use Instacart, TaskRabbit, Shipt, Postmates, any of the other gig options is going to cut into your profit margins. You can get these people to do the sourcing, so you could do online sourcing and then get somebody to go get it for you. So if you online source, do the online research, let somebody else to go get it for you, that's fine. That's one option. You can place your orders online and do store pickup. Walmart offers the store pickup. So does the grocery stores. So do, and the grocery stores are just like, there's just so much inventory. Because again, they got a small seasonal section. They don't have a big seasonal section. They're majority grocery stores. So when it comes to Father's Day gifts, like all that stuff is going to be like clearance. They're like 90% off. That is below wholesale. You'll be able to, you can acquire Father's Day inventory right now and send it to a prep center and just always have inventory. That's the other great thing about prep centers. I'm sorry. Prep centers are amazing because depending on which prep center you go, your inventory can stay there. Amazon's going to charge you large long-term storage fees. So that's another thing. But yeah, take advantage of the buying things online, placing orders online, and do store pickup. Or if you place bulk orders or place orders online, like with a Dollar Tree, you can buy boxes of stuff and have it sent to your house or send it to your local Dollar Tree to pick it up. So I do Dollar Tree, especially when I'm doing bundles, or if I'm selling individual items. There's some items that you can buy at Dollar Tree and you can sell it for definitely more than you know what you paid for. Way a lot more. Sorry. Okay, Casa is worth, yeah, it's weighted in gold. Yeah, get it. Those memberships, like, it is just ridiculous. So I don't know. This list is a lot. A lot of people say, but I don't know where to source. I'm like, I could keep going with this list of where to source and how to source. Don't forget the specialty stores. Don't forget the stores that are at outlet malls. The outlet mall is just like, I think you could go from, you just take a U-Haul with you. Because you could literally go from store to store to store. If you have the capital to acquire the inventory, you could go from store to store to store at outlet malls right now and get some kind of freaking deal. Especially if you buy in bulk. They'll negotiate with you because they have other inventory that's coming in. They have inventory that's already scheduled to rotate in. So that's the thing, is that we are in a win-win situation because we already know a lot of these stores placed their orders a long time ago, especially Walmart and Target 18 to 24 months ago. Some of the other stores maybe 12 months ago. And so the inventory is coming whether they're ready for it or not, whether they got a place to put it. They got to get rid of what they got in order to put the new stuff. So I think they're buying, I think store buyers, their habits are going to change after COVID-19 for sure. You can sanitize, you can wear a mask if you're going to go out, and wear gloves, sanitize all your purchases. So I created a little spray bottle that I keep in my car and I spray things down. Keep a separate section in your trunk so you can put some plastic down. You can buy those bags that do like the trunk separator thing, and you can put stuff in bags in your trunk. So your own personal stuff can be separated from your inventory in your trunk, or put extra tubs in your trunk. Go buy some tubs and put those in your trunk. And you can leave stuff in your garage. So let's talk about what you should be sourcing. Take a screenshot. Take a screenshot. We're going to talk about this. I am going to move some of these other slides to next week, or either record a separate video for them, because we are already past noon. All right. So I am focusing on what to purchase, what people might buy. I said that within the next 4 to 6 months, but the reality is I really am focusing on what people might buy June, July, and August. That's really what I'm focusing on, June, July, and August, because this is the 90-day game plan. So we already know that they're going to buy COVID-19 things, and these may be things you cannot sell on Amazon. Just be prepared that they're going to be things you're not going to be able to sell on Amazon. And people are finding that, oh, I used to be able to sell this, now I can't sell this anymore. Yeah, Amazon is going through some stuff. That's the reason why I'm like, you know, they're going through some transition, they're going through recategorization. Here's the history. for those who've been selling for a while, Amazon always goes through some level of reorganization, restructuring, moving things around, creating subcategories. They used to do that all the time anyway after you got past Q4. So they would sort of spin around April, May, and June, moving stuff around so that they could stabilize what they were doing to go into Prime Day and to go into Q4. So historically, a lot of us have seen that pattern of, oh, they moved this out of here. Oh, now they've made this category restricted. Oh, they changed it. Oh, they added another subcategory. Now I got to go get approved in that. These are all things that Amazon has done historically. Right now, that whole process is completely collugied. Like, it is screwed up in my mind. That's just my personal opinion. Because the staff that they had, a lot of the staff, people have been working from home. They're at home with their kids. So those hours of people that were working in the offices that are now working from home, they have the distraction of their beautiful, lovely kids and family. So their productivity has changed, and that has created situations where they're not able to always evaluate a listing correctly. They're allowing their bots and their other AI tools to do the evaluation, and those AI tools are flagging things incorrectly. This is just the truth. This is what's really happening in some cases, not in all cases. So they're going through an adjustment right now where people used to come in and reevaluate what the AI tool flagged as, hey, you can't sell this, or hey, you're restricted, or hey, whatever it used to flag things for. There used to be some level of human intervention, and that human intervention has gone down or gone away. And so it's not happening the way it used to. That's one thing. Secondarily, they would have gone through the evaluation of different products and categories and subcategories during this window anyway. So they're doing that. Third, they got 100,000 to 200,000 new people in the warehouses alone. So they're adjusting to changes they have to make in the warehouse operations as well. So all of these things are creating little weird happenings within Amazon, where I used to be able to sell this, I can't sell this anymore. So I'm just going to tell you right now, this is where you have the opportunity to pivot. Don't focus on the crap that you get these messages. Don't spend 9 hours with Amazon support trying to get this resolved. Unless you've got a pallet of this particular item that you're trying to sell, I'm not going to invest 9 hours arguing over something that I only have 10 of or 20 of. I'm going to keep it moving. I can sell that stuff on another platform. Don't waste your time on things that don't have a high enough profit margin or that you can sell on another platform. Unless you got a pallet of it, keep it moving. Move on. So if you used to be able to sell gloves, you can't sell them now. Keep it moving, sell it on another platform. Health and beauty items are selling like crazy. Why? Because people don't want to go into stores. Some people. There's half of the US that's okay with going into a store, and some of that half is okay going in with a mask, and the other, some of that half doesn't care if they have a mask or gloves. That's their prerogative. It's not my job to say anything. It's just to point out the facts. There is the other remaining half of the US that's not going anywhere. They still ordering stuff online. So what are all the health and beauty things? What's the last thing you put in your cart that's health and beauty related? People are buying shampoo. That's an obvious one, and soap and toilet paper and baby wipes and whatever else. So what are all the health and beauty things that people need to buy? Some of the things that are smaller are going to be to your advantage. Don't try to buy the things that are big and going to have huge shipping costs. So the smaller things are going to be like razors to cut my, shave the hair off my legs, or deodorant, or buy the smaller stuff. Bottles, the little, the little cotton swabs to wipe off makeup. These are all smaller things, the little round circular things. Buy things that are smaller. Don't buy things that are bigger, because if it's smaller and it's lightweight, your cost is going to be exponentially less. The other thing is there's a boatload in health and beauty that people are buying because it's a preventative, or it's something that they would use because of COVID-19. So maybe people are increasing their intake of vitamin C. If you've been approved to be able to sell supplements, sell some vitamin C, vitamin D, lozenges, zinc lozenges, cough drops, allergy medicine. Some people are not going to stores. Think about those types of things. So if these are things that you are approved to sell or you can sell, go sell them. People are buying them. Even if, you know, half of the United States is out in the brick and mortar buying, there's still the other half that is not. So what would you put in your basket? What would your mama put in her basket? What would your dad put in his basket? What would your neighbor? What would your sister, your cousin, your pastor? What would they put in their baskets? Those are the things that you need to be sourcing for because people are still buying those things. Food items, we're talking about perishable items. Again, the smaller it is, the lighter the weight it is, the less expensive the shipping is going to be for you. So focus on the smaller or the less expensive or the lighter things. You could sell the heavier things. I'm going to recommend the lighter things. Again, we're trying to be into profit. We're trying to find things that are going to move. It's not going to cost me a boatload of money to be able to sell. So I will tell you, like one of my friends made a killing on selling mashed potatoes. Like they would go to Costco and buy a boatload of mashed potatoes and sell them. And the great thing is, for those who don't know, you can sell food items on eBay as well. I used to sell boxes of cereals all the time on eBay. But cereal, mashed potatoes, macaroni and cheese. Mashed potatoes is really light. Like that's really light because it's just flakes. But think about those things that you can sell that are perishable items, that are food items. And then those items that people don't want to go to the store to buy once a month. So incontinence pads. I have a special needs son. He wears pads. That's just the reality of my life. Not everybody has to deal with that. So buying pads online, buying pull-ups online, buying whatever it happens to be, wet wipes online. Those are things that people would consider buying. They buy those things online right now. Learning items. People have to keep their kids busy. Oh my God. So anything that's really going to help the child not regress over the summer, those are the things that people are looking for. So not just the puzzles and the coloring books and crayons, but think about the activity books. Activity books where they can actually learn something. They can learn a little bit of math or a little bit of English. Activity books where they can do something. Maybe it's something where you crafts that you find around your house so they can take the toilet paper roll and turn it into something with some crayons and some stickers. You know, so those are the things that people are looking for. A great source for some of those ideas is Pinterest. So I go to Pinterest all the time as a bundle maker, and I go look at what's the, now I'm hoping y'all are writing. Are you guys writing some of the stuff down? Because it just flows out of my head. So tell me if you're writing any of this or if I should just move on to the next slide. Are you writing? No? Yes? Okay. All right. He said writing feverishly. Okay. Sorry. All right. Okay. So learning items, like when you go to Pinterest, you get all kinds of great ideas on what to do with the kids for the summer. So for those of us that were already thinking about this when COVID-19 hit, we went to Pinterest in February and March. And we went and started putting together bundles in February and March because we knew that the kids were going to be home. Once they started shutting down the rest of the US, we were like, okay, bundle time. Parents are looking for something to keep the kids out of their hair, okay? Then summer activities. So these are summer activities for indoor or outdoor. So those would have naturally already sold. And again, this is one of those seasonal items that all the stores have put out their seasonal stuff. When would they start putting it out? Around April. Because the rule of thumb, write this down, the rule of thumb is always 3 months out. So you want to source for the winter in the fall. You want to source for the spring in the winter. You want to source for the summer in the spring. You want to source for the fall in the summer. So if you're always 3 months out, again, that's why the 90-day game plan works so well because it's 90 days. So if you're sourcing 90 days out, you know what's coming. So in April, we were already sourcing for summer. Well, March, really. We were sourcing for summer because we knew summer was coming, and that was going to be one of those categories when you talk about sales rank. The things in that category are probably going to have some horrific sales rank, but by the time you get to May, the sales rank on those things are going to be in the 1% of the sales range. So again, you follow the path of the trajectory of where these products are going. That's why I say buying tools is not always where it's at. Some of this stuff is just logic and watching the pattern of what really happens anyway. So summer tools, summer activities we're going to already sell. Things where kids can be outside, the slip and slide, the water pool noodles, and the the inflatable arm floaty things, and water guns and kites, and just stuff, chalk, and all of that fun stuff. Start sourcing that stuff in March, because the kids are going to be outside. They're going to be outside. They need it for spring break anyway. So outdoor summer activities, gardening. People have decided, because of all of the news, people are freaking out about the food shortage, that they are buying gardening stuff. They are all going to have gardens in their backyards. So gardening right now is a huge deal. Gardening was a huge deal in March. Gardening was a huge deal in April. If you were already in the gardening space, you made a killing. Like, you experienced a Q4 in March and April. I'm just going to tell you. It was insane. Gardening tools, the little knee pads, the gloves, the diggers. So the little box, the little planter boxes, even seeds. Gardening tools. So go do a Google search on gardening tools. So when people tell me, what should I sell? Just do a Google search. Please give me a list of the top 10 gardening tools. Go to Amazon. Let's just go there right now. Hold on just a minute. Exit. So if I go to Amazon right now, Amazon is the best source of what to sell. Oh my gosh, I love it all day long. So when I'm talking about gardening stuff, if you want to know what's moving, what's already in the Amazon bestsellers. I didn't finish bestsellers. So write that down. Keep Amazon bestsellers, okay? So Amazon bestsellers, once you go to Amazon bestsellers, I'm going to go to gardening, and I'm going to go to patio and garden. Then I'm going to go down from patio and garden. I'm going to go to gardening. It tells me exactly what people are buying. Some of these things are not big things. Some of these things are small things. These are items you can sell on Amazon. You can source them. So this is the Amazon top 100. This is the first 50. This is it right here. These are things that are selling on Amazon, and they're in the top 1% of the sales rank right now. Right now. Okay? So these are the gardening things that people are buying off of Amazon. Walmart has a similar thing to Amazon bestsellers. Fly swatters. How many of y'all can source fly swatters from the Dollar Tree? Well, this one's like 6, so you could probably source them from Kohl's Imports or somewhere else. But anyway, unfortunately, was it not Hobby Lobby, but Tuesday Mornings going on is filing for bankruptcy. So you'll probably be able to get some from there. But the point is, again, these are things that are not all of them are super heavy. This is super light. Look at this. You can source this. That's super light. I'm not trying to have you go buy some turf builder. I'm trying to get you to buy some small stuff. Look at that pH up and down. New people that are new to gardening, they need to know some of this stuff. Now, you may have to get approved because some of this stuff's going to be flagged as hazmat. So if you don't want to deal with the hazmat, go sell a sprayer hose cover. Okay? All right? See how you don't need all these extravagant tools to be able to figure out how to source. I love sourcing. It's like a challenge to me. I love it. Okay, so gardening activities. If you want to look at some summer activities, go to Amazon.com. Go see what's happening. Go into summer. Or it's not really a summer category. Go to toys. Go see what's happening in toys. Outdoor. Learning toys. Go over to Amazon. Go to toys. Go to learning toys. See what's moving. Okay? And then come up with ideas that are similar to that. Okay, so fall activities, fall items. So people are going to be buying stuff for the fall. What do you normally plant in the fall? If you don't know, do a Google search. What do people plant in the fall? Start sourcing for that crap right now. Source for it in your 90-day game plan. Do that. Air purifiers and filters, okay? People are concerned about COVID-19, sneezing, coughing, people coming in, the kids coming back from wherever, and the whole thing. So do that. Filters, all of that stuff. Buy those things. Baskets, sprays, cleaning supplies. People are cleaning like crazy. Okay, go do a search on Amazon. What cleaning supplies are people buying right now? All you have to do is just Google Amazon bestsellers. Go to good and do that. Okay. Back to school. So back to school is going to be back to school, but let me just tell you, school has been selling like crazy. If you bought back to school last year, you've been making money since April. I bought back to school. We bought all of the clearance stuff that came out of Kroger, which is a local store in our area. We bought all of the school pack bundles and we bought backpacks on clearance. We had already put this stuff together because we knew we were going to sell it this year for back to school. Well, started breaking down some of those things and then start selling them separately. Because what happened when everybody was at home? Well, let's just see. All the kids went home in March for spring break and never went back to school. So their backpacks, everything that was in their locker or their desk is at school. That includes pencils, crayons, coloring books, you name it, markers, scissors, all that stuff was at school. All that stuff that parents bought in August and September, including myself, was sitting at school. So everybody was sitting around going, no, what the heck? So now they have to go and buy more school supplies online. School supplies and office supplies took a spike in March and April because nobody had anything at home. So, lesson learned, if they have this weird Kaluji schedule that they're going to do for back to school, right now, as a seller, I want you to think about that. When back to school goes on clearance, and it will eventually go on clearance, what are you going to do as a seller? Because we normally buy back to school when it goes on clearance, and we hold it for the next year, the buy and hold strategy. That way we can always throw our stuff up, or we can go ahead and list it then, and people will buy it. I mean, we sold out of stuff that we weren't expecting to sell out of. So I'm just saying, these are all great strategies. Summer clothes, swimsuits. Again, people would typically go to the store to buy swimsuits. So they're ordering them online. Pajamas are a huge seller. Oh my God. Pajamas are a huge seller right now because nobody's getting dressed. I'm just gonna be honest. I haven't even changed out of my, I'm just saying, just people, I'm confident some of y'all still in y'all pajamas. Okay. So pajamas are a big deal. But yeah, summer stuff to do outdoor activities, fitness stuff, anything that's light fitness activity. So again, you're trying to figure out what fitness stuff should I sell? Go to Amazon bestsellers, go see what's in the top 100. That will give you an idea. Then go see who else you can buy this from at a lower price. Reverse sourcing. All right, 4th of July, Labor Day, we already talked about red, white, and blue. Anything that's going to help people get outside. So the biggest thing about this COVID-19 is indoor activities are a no-no, outdoor activities are a yes. So indoor activities like going to the movies, going to the roller skating rink, going bowling, where you have to touch other things that other people have touched, those are activities, those businesses are going to suffer. That's the reality. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. It's going to suffer. No matter how much they clean, it's the stigma of, I got to touch somebody else's bowling ball, bring my own bowling ball, or touch the screen or whatever the case may be, even if I'm wearing gloves. It's just going to be weird. Going to the movies, you're at a movie theater, who knows what the ventilation system is like, blah, blah, blah. So people are looking for outdoor activities. So what I would recommend is you guys do some deep research over the next week on sourcing for anything that has to do with outside. Seriously. People are going to be buying canopies, they're going to be buying tables and chairs, stuff that they had previously never bought because they want to entertain people. Grandparents want to see their grandkids. People are going to be taking road trips that they previously had said, I'm not going anywhere. So they might take 1 road trip versus 3 road trips this summer. And the things that they do may be all outside. There will be less indoor stuff and more outdoor stuff. So outdoor backyard picnics, outdoor movies where they get the whole neighborhood together and everybody watches on a big screen. Who's sourcing screens or those little drop downs that look like screens and they're really lightweight? The projectors themselves, that's in electronics. And so projecting out and connecting it to a laptop so it can project on your garage. And then everybody brings lawn chairs. Who's selling lawn chairs? Or the little small ones, or the fabric that's the replaceable pieces to lawn chairs. Who's doing that? Anybody in this group? I'm just telling you, I could keep going. There are so many things that you could be sourcing. All the picnic supplies, paper plates, paper clips, forks, spoons, that's all easy. The carrying things. Who's thinking about the carrying bags? The fold up carrying bags because they're small and they can expand out. Who's thinking about those? So I need you guys to think about anything that has to do with outdoor venues, anything that has to do with outdoor activities. You're going to find, like, people are doing church outside, graduations are outside. So again, people are going to be doing more outside stuff. Umbrellas. Is that helpful? I don't know. Everybody's asleep. All right, and then last but not least, and there's so much more, is that notepads, any accessories. So some people don't like to sell electronics. I get that. There's a high, depending on what you sell and how well the listing is, description is, there can be a high return factor. But let's just think about the accessories. What about charging cords? What about earbuds? What about phone covering cases? What about, think about all the accessories. So the accessory little cord that connects from the laptop to the projector. Somebody's got to sell that little cord, and it doesn't just have to be Best Buy. It's a little bitty cord. We have one. So think about all the accessories when it comes to electronics and games and gaming and tools for the kids. All of those things. Start doing some sourcing. Open up and explore what you have been closed to before. Think about it. Just seriously think about, what am I putting in my cart? Is somebody somewhere else in the world, not just in the United States, in the world putting the same thing into their cart? If they are, should I be sourcing this thing? Should I scan it and see if it's worth selling? All right, so next week, so what we were supposed to cover, we didn't finish, was we were going to do create your listing or piggybacking off of a listing and then shipping. But I got to call it because I've been talking for a while. It's already 12:30. You guys have spent 2.5 hours with me. Thank you for your grace and mercy. So next week, what I'm going to send you is you're going to get some emails tomorrow. You're probably going to get them on Monday. Just a heads up, it's probably going to be Monday. Creating your account, sourcing. I talked through the sourcing. I may not, we'll send one for sourcing, but it may be short. Creating your listings or piggybacking off of a listing, product research and sourcing, mindset and tools, cashback. So you're going to get videos for those, and then you're going to get videos for templates. You get templates for tracking your listings, because again, you don't always need tools to do all of this. If you have a lot of inventory, I understand when having a tool makes sense. If you don't have a lot of inventory and you're selling things where you have a high ROI, which is what Norman does, he sells very few things with high ROIs. So he doesn't need a big giant, he doesn't need software. He can just use a tracking spreadsheet. And we're going to upload these videos into the video this one. I'm going to upload this to the eCom Sellers Academy section. If you purchase the membership, you will have access to it. If you didn't, no, sorry, not the membership. If you purchase this particular workshop, you'll have access to it. If you didn't purchase it and you're an Academy member, then you won't see it. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to finish messing around with your schedule. Please do. I want you to finish setting up your account this week. I want you to acquire some inventory and list it over the next 2 days. If you haven't created your account, we're going to do the scan and list. So Yuri, you and I will probably talk at 2 o'clock. I want you to go through your why. That should be something you look at every single day. And I want you to look at your target number every single day. So you remind yourself before you get started, based on your schedule, what am I doing today? My goal is to find inventory where I can have a profit that's going to get me this, and make that your daily objective. And if you find things that are in the top 1% of the sales rank, you are faster at getting to that goal. It's going to get you there faster. And then if you have any questions, attend the Q&A session. I am happy to help you. There's 2 of them. They were in your email and they were at the beginning of this. So I'm Nicole Whitlock with the eCom Sellers Mastery. I hope this has been a blessing to you. We covered a lot. If I can get some kudos, some yes, was this first class worth it? Was it a waste of your time? Please tell me in the chat if it was worth it or if it was a waste of your time. I really want you guys to go take action. So I hope this was a blessing to you and your business. I hope you guys really do take action, and I hope you implement all of the strategies and stuff that we talked about just in the first class. So the next class is probably going to be long. We will take a bathroom break in the middle of the next class. But the classes after that should all be 1 hour. So I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope that we have been a blessing to you. And we will talk with you guys later. Bye for now. And you should tell other people that they should take this class next time. So if you want to, anywhere you see the 90-day challenge, You need to tell them the first class alone was pure gold. Because I'm telling you, you can make a lot of money with everything I just talked about. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye for now.